Hi everyone! Today we're breaking down 5 key differences in the theories of Jean Piaget and Lev Vygotsky, two of the most influential psychologists in history, who fundamentally disagreed on where the human mind comes from. Does thinking come first, or does society create it? This debate still shapes education, psychology, and even artificial intelligence, so let's get started. For Piaget, the main focus was cognitive development. He studied how children reason, how they solve problems, how they construct knowledge through interaction with the world. Vygotsky studied higher mental functions, including thinking, speech, memory, and voluntary attention. Or, more precisely, he studied the very process of their development. For Vygotsky, the key question was not just how children think, but how their thinking is shaped through social interactions, culture, and language. For Piaget, cognitive development is governed by the law of decentration. Decentration is the gradual ability to consider several dimensions at once, coordinate perspectives, and mentally reverse transformations. For Piaget, development happens through assimilation, accommodation, and cognitive balance. In his concept, cognitive growth works like biological evolution. The mind adapts to reality, and the structures become more complex over time. Vygotsky formulated the general genetic law of development. Every higher mental function appears first in social interactions, and only later it becomes internalized as an individual psychological process. For Vygotsky, development happens through interiorization and is always mediated by cultural tools. So, Piaget and Vygotsky had a completely opposite understanding of the source and direction of development. For Piaget, it was from individual to social. For Vygotsky, vice versa, from social to individual. Piaget proposed 4 universal stages of development: sensory motor, pre-operational, concrete operational, and formal operational. These stages are biologically driven, occur in the same order for everyone, cannot be skipped. Vygotsky strongly rejected the idea of rigid stages. He believed development is uneven, influenced by culture, full of jumps, rapid changes, and crises. He also argued that different cultures may produce different developmental paths. So, unlike Piaget with his ladder metaphor, Vygotsky had a more dramaturgical notion in mind when he talked about development. He suggested the metaphor of a stage with 2 planes, social and individual. And he claimed that every higher mental function first appears on the social plane, that is, between people in social interactions, and only afterwards it goes to the individual plane, where it becomes internalized as an individual psychological process. Piaget believed that learning should match the child's current level of development. If the child is not ready, teaching will not work. In short, he was convinced that learning cannot speed up development. Vygotsky, on the contrary, believed that learning is the engine of development. He introduced his most famous concept, the zone of proximal development. The ZPD refers to the gap between what the child can do on their own and what a child can do with some help from a more experienced other. Good teaching targets exactly the zone of proximal development and pulls development forward. Now imagine a child who is learning something new. In one classroom, the child learns independently, exploring and discovering knowledge on their own. In the second classroom, learning unfolds through dialogue and interaction, with teacher or peers providing guidance and support to the child. Which one would you choose? So Piaget sees the child as an independent explorer who discovers things on their own. In Piaget's model, adults should not interfere excessively, and instruction must wait until the child is developmentally ready. Thus, Piaget leads to discovery learning and age-appropriate instruction. Vygotsky leads to guidance, dialogue, and collaborative learning. In Vygotsky's model, both the child and the adult are active participants of the social activity. The adult plays an important role in organizing and creating the zone of proximal development. So, the debate between Vygotsky and Piaget isn't merely historical. The position we adopt shapes how we organize learning and design classrooms, how we conduct research and interpret experimental data, as well as how we think about language, cognition, and even artificial intelligence. If this video was helpful, like it and follow for more.